Here's how to win a bidding war on a house. We have represented a lot of buyers over the years and been in a lot of multiple offer situations. And if there's a house that you love, but you're not the only person who's in love with it and you've got to make an offer that's competitive, we're going to give you 4 tips that not only have I seen work on the buyer side, but when I list homes and I've been the one receiving all those multiple offers, I see the way that sellers are analyzing them and the things they're looking for. So today I'm going to give you 4 things that isn't just paying the most for the house, but 4 tips to help you get the home that you want if you're caught in a bidding war. So tip number 1, it is not just about price. The highest price does not necessarily always win. There are a lot of terms in that contract, and you want to be thinking about all of them and presenting your offer as a package that is the most attractive to those sellers. So for instance, the sellers might care a lot more about their closing date. Maybe they've got another house they got to get into, they're starting a new job, they need to be in schools by a certain time. They might care a lot more about when you're closing than getting an extra $5,000 on the price. Maybe they're building a new home that isn't going to be complete for 2 months. And so what they really want is somebody who can close on their house and let them rent it back until their new house is done. You don't know specifically what those sellers are looking for unless you ask. So make sure your agent calls, gets as much information about the sellers as they can. Then you can make an offer that will meet their needs the best, not necessarily just the offer with the highest price. Tip number 2, think about things that you can do that can take cost off of the seller's plate. So again, it's not really worth offering them a higher price if then you ask for them to pay for other things that just negate the money that you've offered them in sales price. So there are a lot of things you could potentially pay for. Title policy, paying for a new survey, who was paying the HOA resale fees, who was compensating the agents. If you can take any of those costs off, that actually might benefit you than just raising your price up and up and up. At the end of the day, what sellers really care about is their bottom line. Doesn't matter if the price is the highest if they're not walking away with the most money. So take a look at everything that's on the table. What we like to say is all the pieces of the pie. And are you willing to take on some of those additional costs to take them off the plate of the seller to then make your offer more attractive? There are 2 other costs to consider as well, not paid by the seller, but something that you can use to show that you're more serious. First of all is earnest money. That's the money you are putting down up front to lock this seller into the contract. And then the second one here in Texas is we have an option fee. You pay that seller for the option period where they are taking their home off the market. If you want to make your offer stand out, you can raise either one of those numbers and that'll look a lot better to the seller. Now, I always say when you're negotiating, you want to put yourself in the other person's shoes so you can figure out what they want. And there are 2 things that cause a lot of uncertainty for sellers. The first one is the option period. Once you go under contract as buyers here in Texas, you have a certain number of days that we call an option period. And during that time, you have the unrestricted right to walk away. You can find things during inspections, a better home could pop up down the street, or you could just flat out change your mind and you can get out of that contract. Obviously, that period is a really tricky period for sellers. They're kind of sitting there waiting with a big question mark over the offer they just accepted. So if you want to make your offer more attractive, you can shorten that option period. Instead of asking for 10 days, maybe ask for 5 days. The shorter that period can be, the better. You can still get in and do your inspections and negotiate in that amount of time, but don't drag out that option period. And then the second thing that you might want to consider is the appraisal contingency. The other thing that can sometimes kill a sale is when you get 3 or 4 weeks down the road, the appraisal comes back and it doesn't meet where your sales price is. If you are willing to offer the seller some appraisal protection, that means that you are willing to say, hey, if it comes in low, I'll cover the difference out of pocket. They know that they are guaranteed to get the price that they accepted on the contract. So if you can take away either one of those 2 fears from the sellers, also something that's really attractive when they are reviewing multiple offers. Now, I get asked a lot, how much over asking should we go? And I have to tell my clients, the only person that can answer that question is you. How badly do you want this house? What I tell people is to think, what if you don't get it? At what price would you say, you know what, that is as much as we were willing to pay. We wouldn't have been comfortable offering more than that. What you don't want to happen is you find out that you lost out and you kick yourself thinking, gosh, well, we should have offered 5,000 or 10,000 more. If that's what you're willing to offer, then I say offer that right out of the gate. And then that way, whatever happens, you know that you made the strongest offer you felt comfortable with. But at the end of the day, it's your house, it's your money. I can give you advice, but it's up to you how much you're willing to pay for that home. So this last one, we get this question a lot from buyers. Is it bad to offer over asking price? People are worried that they're making a bad financial financial decision if they pay more than what the sellers have listed the home for? And the short answer to that question is no. If this is the house that you love, maybe you've been waiting for something in this neighborhood with a pool so your kids can go to a certain elementary school and something finally comes on the market, it is well worth the small difference in your monthly mortgage payment to go a little bit over asking price and give those sellers what they want if it gets you the house. So the short answer is no. But you do want to base that decision on data. Don't just get emotional and offer them as much money as you can. Take a look at what other homes have sold for in the neighborhood. If paying $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 over asking price still gets you within the normal range of what homes are selling for in that neighborhood, then that's fine. You just want to make sure that you are not getting way above what any home has ever sold for. Think about how long you're going to be in the home. If this is going to be your home for the next 5 to 7 years, then a difference of $10,000 in sales price is going to work itself out. This is a long-term investment. So you don't have to get that price right on the money because you're going to be sitting on this home for years and it's going to continue to appreciate. So the answer to that question is pay attention, look at what's going on, make a smart financial decision, but also you can make an offer that's really competitive. Okay, here's my last little bonus tip when it comes to price. I've been the listing agent collecting these offers before, and what I've noticed is that when we start getting bidding wars, people kind of go to whatever the next even number is. So let's say the house is $500,000. Everybody writes an offer for $510,000. Well, if you write an offer for $511,000 or $512,000, sometimes that can be the thing that bumps you up to the top so you're higher than all the other offers. Now, like I said, those other terms matter, but if all the terms are relatively the same and your offer is technically the highest, sellers will pick yours. Look, great houses are in high demand, and it doesn't matter what the market is like. You might come across a multiple offer situation. So you want to be prepared. You want to think ahead of time of all the potential things that you are willing to do to make your offer stronger. Work with your realtor to present the strongest offer package. Find out as much as you can about those sellers. Try to meet as many of their needs as you can. And then hopefully yours will be the offer that gets chosen. But like I always say, you're going to have a much better shot if you're working with a professional who knows all these ins and outs and can advise you on the market conditions, on whether the offer that you're making is smart, and they know the little tips and tricks to help get you that house. Of course, if you're in the Katy, Texas area, we would love to help you. So feel free to reach out. We are happy to take you out and try to help you find your dream home.